Hello fellow shadows, welcome back to another video, and in this video we're sponsored by Dr. Pepper, because I do love my soda. And you hear that sound? Ooh yeah. The sponsored bid was a load of crap, but if like any company, like soda company, wants to sponsor me, I'd be up for that. I mean, I do love my soda. I generally do love my soda. But I also have water, so it's also good to drink water, but I love my soda. Keep that in mind. I'm up for any sponsorship: Dr. Pepper, root beer, Conola, Pepsi, any other company, you know. This is so good. But anyways, you guys didn't come here to see me drink some really good soda. Which I am like hinting at a lot. Cough, cough, Dr. Pepper, please. Uh, but you guys, as you guys probably seen in this video, here to see where I personally stand on which is the better game, or which game, I should say that, which game that I prefer between Batman Arkham Asylum and Spider-Man, the PlayStation 4 version. Because if I say better, then I'm just setting myself up for like a backlash. But which game do I like better between the two games? I'm going to talk about the gameplay and the story as two different aspects in here. Because I do believe that gameplay is one thing and story is another. So let's talk about story at first. In Arkham Asylum, Joker is being brought to Arkham Asylum, and he takes control of Arkham Asylum, and it's up to Batman to stop the Joker. And in doing so, he has to face like Killer Croc, the Riddler, even though the Riddler isn't like there physically. We still have to get all of his trophies to potentially stop the Riddler. Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, who else? It's been a little while since I played the game, so I'm kind of forgetting which characters are in the game. Victor Sass, and a few other characters from the Batman gallery. And he ultimately does stop the Joker, obviously. And then it's Spider-Man. We all know that Norman Osborn is a dick. I mean, Norman Osborn is a dick. He has experimented on this one guy named Martin Lee when he was a kid. Gave him powers. Martin Lee ultimately becomes Mr. Negative, or Dr. Negative. And when he got his powers, he unintentionally killed his parents. So Martin Lee, who was a close friend to Peter Parker, goes crazy on the city, trying to kill Norman Osborn. Dr. Octavius, he is also close to Peter, so we're getting like the Tobey Maguire version feel, because in each movie of the original Spider-Man trilogy, each of the villain had some sort of connection with Peter. In the first movie, Green Goblin was his best friend's father. Spider-Man 2, Dr. Octopus, kind of like in this PS4 game, was Peter Parker's mentor. Spider-Man 3, he had to fight his best friend he was fighting with his best friend for most of the movie. Excuse me. He came across the guy who killed his own uncle and one of his old co-workers that he embarrassed. got fired because he doctored up some Spider-Man photos. So in this game, like two main villains of this game, I feel like, or have some close connection with Peter, and they're not really villains. I mean, sure you can say that Norman Osborn is ultimately the villain in this. Is the main villain in this, but yeah, no, Martian Lee, Doctor Negative or Mister Negative, and Doctor Octopus are the two like villains that we fight. Like that's the most dominance I feel like, but Doctor Octopus a bit more. So the reason why Doctor Octopus is, or Doc Ock turns into Doctor Octopus, because he gets tired of getting. He would just wants revenge on Norman Osborn because he took the company Oscorp away from him, and there's other things that motivates Doc Ock for being a psycho in this movie, and he like the arm thing, kind of like how we saw in Spider-Man 2, messes with his mind and causes Dr. Octavius to go berserk and psycho. And in this game, Dr. Octavius does form the Sinister Six, which I thought it was cool. I thought it was really cool. Both stories are like I'm being kind of vague about the plot of both games because I do want you guys to go like watch like gameplay or actually play the games if you haven't done so already. So, but that's just the overall arch of the two games. Batman is trying to stop Joker from taking over the Asylum because Joker wants to go wreak havoc on Gotham, and Spider-Man needs to stop Martian Lee and Doctor Octopus because Norman, being the typical douchebag, fucked both of them over, and they want revenge. And in doing so, both both Martian Lee and Doctor Octavius are both wreaking havoc on the city just to get to him. And of course, Spider-Man has to go through, like, has to kind of like battle with Sable, which isn't fun for him. Which I still need to play the DLCs, anyways. But yeah, so which do I think is a better story, or am I a fan of more? I mean, both stories are pretty good. They're like both games in their own rights are pretty badass, and both games set up for their sequels pretty well. Granted that Spider-Man doesn't have a sequel that is out yet, but Batman Arkham Asylum has like 3 games that came after it, or 4 games if you count the VR game. So I have to say that with Spider-Man, let's just say Spider-Man's my favorite Marvel hero in general. Batman's one of my favorite DC Comics hero. I had lower expectations for Arkham Asylum when I got it, when it was new on the PlayStation 3, than I did for Spider-Man. So I have to say that I like Batman Arkham Asylum more in terms of story because I had lower expectations for that game. Because we never really got a Batman game before. And so it was like a 50-50. So it blew my mind in story. And at the time in gameplay too, but if we just talk about story, it blew my mind more. Yes, Spider-Man had their moments, but it just blew my mind more because I had like really low expectations for Batman Arkham Asylum. Not saying that I was being negative, it's just that's how I felt. Now in terms of like gameplay, and before I go in gameplay, I do like Spider-Man a lot too. I had some expectations for both games, obviously, and I did not expect. I honestly did not expect, like, I'm trying to put my thoughts into words better. I did not expect me to be so wowed with Spider-Man either. Like, I had expectations. It met my expectations and more. Which I said, okay, I like this game. Okay, this game is doing justice to my favorite Marvel hero. Like, okay, okay, okay. So, more, so in terms of story, which one I am more of a fan of, and I'm going with Arkham Asylum because I had it like exceeded my expectations way more. Not saying that Spider-Man is a lesser game in story mode, but because I'm a big fan of Spider-Man, and essentially, if I didn't have to pick one, I would say a tie. Because that's how good both games are in story. It's a tie. Because, yeah, I do think that there might be some things in Arkham Asylum that Spider-Man didn't deliver as good, and vice versa, in terms of story. But, like I said, both games, in terms of story, if I didn't have to pick one, it would be a literal tie. But for argument's sake, I'm going to choose Arkham Asylum because that exceeded my expectations a bit more than Spider-Man did, if that makes sense. But in no way am I bashing Spider-Man. Now, in terms of gameplay, which do I like better? So, Spider-Man's gameplay is very reminiscent to the Batman Arkham's gameplay a bit. More so Arkham City. Arkham Asylum was, like, to my knowledge, the first game that had involved that type of fighting that we also see in, like, Arkham City, Arkham Knight, Arkham Origins, and Spider-Man PS4. So it was like the first game to have that type of combat that we see in both Arkham Asylum and Arkham and in Spider-Man. That's in general. And yeah, some games may have done it, tried to do it before, but at the time it wasn't as good or as awesome as Arkham Knight was. I mean, Arkham Asylum at the time when it came out. So, and then of course Arkham City came around, because I don't think Arkham Origins came out until after Arkham City. Arkham City's gameplay built from Arkham Asylum's gameplay. So it was like Arkham Asylum was like the premise of what fighting, like, what you could do with fighting games per se that has a storyline in the style that Arkham Asylum had. Arkham City improved upon that, and yeah, Arkham Origins might have improved upon that a tad bit, but and then Arkham Knight definitely improved upon that when you get to, like, switch between characters and do these badass takedowns in between both characters. So I'm so hoping Spider-Man 2 will have the same combat style in terms of letting you do, like, this team takedown between both characters. Like, let's say it's Spider-Man and Miles. Like, potentially, like, Peter Parker punches, like, uppercuts an enemy while Miles uses the web and does this, like, 360 in the air and just slams a person down on the ground. That would be badass. But yeah, so Arkham Asylum has was like introduced that whole fighting system that we kind of see in Spider-Man. Spider-Man, and I know Arkham City came out like what 10 years ago, 10 years ago, 10. This is like 2020, so yeah, about 10 years ago. But so I know this might be unfair for me to say, but in terms of like fighting, Spider-Man it will win. Cause yeah, it was inspired from the Arkham Asylum or the Arkham series fighting style, but like with Arkham City, pretending that Arkham Origins and Arkham Knight doesn't exist. Like with Arkham City, Spider-Man kind of improves upon that, and of course, Spider-Man made it its own because it's a Spider-Man game, not a Batman game. And so, yeah, in terms of like fighting and the fighting gameplay, Spider-Man wins, in my opinion. Now, in terms of free roaming, like with story, it's a tie because both Arkham Asylum and Spider-Man, both when they were able to like free roam as well, and not having to like be led in this one direction by the story, is controlling Spider-Man and Batman are pretty fun. They're pretty fun. I don't really have any complaints. I mean, I also have when Arkham Asylum is done, like in terms of story mode, I wish it was like kind of like Arkham City, Arkham Asylum. I mean, Arkham City, Arkham Knight, Arkham Origins, and Spider-Man, where there are still some enemies left on the island, because that would have made like free roaming, Arkham City a bit more interesting when you don't have, if you do have more enemies to look out for, like Arkham City. After you beat Arkham City, the story mode, and I can't really say for the DLC because once the DLC ends, you have to replay it, just beat it. So, with the main story for Arkham City, after you're done, you get to free roam, do side missions of stuff, of course, like kind of like Spider-Man. But there's still some guys that you get to fight, even like long after you are done with the story, and that's what Spider-Man does as well. After you're done with the story, you get to just free roam, help do like a crime in progress, just beat up a few bad guys and stuff like that. So, with that said, I will have to say that in terms of free roaming, Spider-Man would have to ultimately win over Arkham Asylum. Because, like I said, with Spider-Man, after you are done with the story, you can still fight people and help with crime in progress. The only thing you can do in like the free roam with Arkham Asylum is that look for the Riddler trophies. That's really about it. Which is entertaining, but it would be more challenging if they allowed you to have more guys on the island after the final battle with you and Joker. And they could have, since they returned to Arkham, they did release the Return to Arkham set, so they could have easily added like more, like gave you more things to do in Arkham Asylum and then Return to Arkham set, but they didn't. Wasted opportunity there. Wasted. They could have even had made like a DLC level exclusive to the Return to Arkham set, where it would give us fans who are like, I mean us fans like fans who have played Arkham City prior to the release, like on the PlayStation 3, it will give us fans more incentive in getting the game as way sooner than we probably would. But yeah, so in terms of story, I would have to give it to, if I had to choose one, I would have to give it to Arkham Asylum. When it comes to gameplay, both combat and free roam, ultimately, I'll give it to Spider-Man. Especially the free roam part, because there's more things to do than just roaming around the city and looking for hidden clues, like Arkham Asylum does, because he gets to actually fight. But the reason why I made this video, because I actually seen a post on Facebook saying, "Oh, which one do you like better, Spider-Man, PS4, or Arkham Asylum, or like which do you think is a better game?" And I ultimately said, excuse me, in terms of pretty much what I said in this video, in terms of gameplay, Spider-Man. In terms of story, I'll have to give it to Batman Arkham Asylum. And so yeah, that's my stance on it. But ultimately, if I had to choose, like I said earlier, if I had to choose one like over the other in terms of story, I mean, if I didn't have to choose between the stories for Arkham Asylum and Spider-Man PS4, I would honestly have said it's a tie, because both are extremely good. That's really hard for me to pick one. Now, like, keep in mind, as I think I said before, it's just my opinion. I'm not saying that one game is overall better than the other. I'm just saying that in terms of story, I may prefer Arkham Asylum a tad bit better, only by a tad, a little bit, than Spider-Man, only because I had lower standards for Arkham Asylum than I did with Spider-Man. So I guess pretty decent sized standards for both games. But when it comes to gameplay, which is unfair for me to say in terms of combat, I know, but Spider-Man PS4 overall has the better gameplay, because like in terms of roaming around and fighting, Spider-Man does improve on Arkham Asylum's fighting skills, and after the stories is done, you have more things to do in Spider-Man PS4 than you do in Arkham Asylum. But that's just me. So, again, I know I said this before, but I just want to make this clear. It's just my opinion on these games. It's nowhere. I'm nowhere saying it's facts. It's just me expressing my opinion. So, what do you guys think? If you guys played Arkham City, if you guys played Arkham Asylum and Spider-Man PlayStation 4, which games do you guys prefer in terms of story and gameplay? Let me know in the comment section below. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a wonderful day. Be kind to one another. Be careful out there, because the world is crazier than it's been recently. And I'll talk to you guys later. Love you all, and have a wonderful day. Love you, fellow Shadows.